Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Lauren with Woven Whimsies and I'm so excited to see you here. On this channel, we will dive into the wonderful world of crochet, from beginner-friendly tutorials to more advanced projects that will challenge your crochet skills. Whether you're just starting out or you've been crocheting for a while, I've got something for you. So a little bit about me. I've been crocheting since 2015. After the tragic loss of my grandmother, I realized that one of my cousins wasn't going to receive a baby blanket from my granny. Every single one of the grandchildren in my family have been gifted a baby blanket at birth from my grandmother. With the tragic loss of my granny, I decided to pull up some YouTube and get to work on learning how to crochet so that way I can make a sweet baby blanket for my cousin's baby. If you're looking to make cute amigurumi, purses, accessories, clips, anything you name it, I've got you covered. And I love sharing all of my crochet hacks, yarn recommendations, and any tips and tricks to make it easier along the way. And don't worry, whether you're learning basic stitches or intricate patterns, I break it all down in simple, easy to follow steps. I'm so grateful for this amazing crochet community, and I can't wait to see what you create. So make sure you hit that notification bell and subscribe so you never miss a new tutorial or update. All right, let's get started with today's crochet tutorial. Today we are learning all about the basics of what we will need to get started. So before you even go to the store to gather your crochet supplies for your very first project, I will go over all of the yarn hooks, the types of yarn that you should probably be starting with, the different types of yarn that are out there, what to look for. It can be a little overwhelming with how many supplies you need for crochet, but really all you need is one hook and one skein of yarn and you are off to the races. First, let's go over crochet hooks. If you are on a budget, I would highly recommend that you don't go out and buy a set of crochet hooks. It's not necessary and you might not like the set you buy. They are really cheap if you buy them individually. So if you have a certain project, if you are buying yarn and notice that you need a specific hook size, don't go out and buy a whole set, especially if you're on a budget. Just go and get the one hook. It's like $1 at most places. They are so cheap to buy individually, so you can just pick them up as you go. Crochet hooks can be made out of wood, bamboo, plastic, aluminum, or steel. My favorite are aluminum hooks. They tend to slide really nicely, whereas the bamboo and wood tend to snag on the ends, and I cannot stand that. The plastic seem to squeak with acrylic yarn especially, and I cannot stand that. I know a lot of other crocheters will not use acrylic yarn just because of that reason. I do make amigurumis, and so using the plush yarn with the plastic is like a sensory nightmare, so don't do that. The metal hooks can be with or without grips. Using grips on crochet hooks can make a big difference on your comfort and overall crochet experience. If you end up buying some without grips like this, you can find other things like pencil grips can work on these. I've seen YouTubers put makeup brushes or sponges on the ends and slide them through. Tennis balls even. There's lots of different options when it comes to that. Grips provide extra padding and cushioning, making the crochet hook more comfortable to hold for extended periods, like think blankets, scarves, very large projects. Many crochet hooks are designed with ergonomics in mind, supporting the natural position of your hand and wrist. This can help reduce strain on your fingers, hands, and wrists, especially if you've had a previous injury, if you suffer from discomfort or conditions like arthritis or carpal tunnel syndrome. Grips cushion the handle, reducing the potential discomfort from gripping hard metal and plastic and making the hook easier to hold. Beginners will start with a really loosey-goosey tension, which is fine, until they can learn how to do stitches and they kind of understand what they're doing. Then they start putting a death grip on these crochet hooks. I did it. I'm teaching my daughter how to crochet right now, and she did it as well. If you have a death grip on your crochet hook, you are going to have a world of a problem. And I think that grip comes from trying to hold so many things at the same time and learn how to do stitches. So if you have a good grip, then you're not as likely to strain your hands while you're crocheting as a beginner. You might notice that most of my crochet hooks do not have grips, even though I'm telling you of all of the amazing things that grips can do for your crochet. And the reason for this is that my granny gave me these whenever she passed. So most of my crochet hooks don't have grips. I did purchase this one because I was missing a G hook, and I've tried it and I can't get the hang of it. It will, if I have to use the entire hook while I'm crocheting, it just stops and I can't get into the stitch. So I like to use the entirety of my hook whenever I'm crocheting. If I only have this much to work with, it is really hard for me to figure that out. I can do it with some patience, but I don't like it. Also, whenever you're using a thick yarn like this, look how much that's taking up on the hook. This is horrible. It's really hard to get used to. I only have one 10 millimeter crochet hook. I don't have a lot of projects that use this. So whenever I have to do a very large project with a very large yarn, I do have to use this, and it just takes, again, a lot of patience on my part. Crochet hook sizes are measured based on their thickness, which influences the size of the stitches that they create. The larger the hook, the bigger the stitch. Conversely, the smaller the hook, the smaller the stitch. Here's a quick guide to crochet hook sizes in both US and metric, because of course they're not the same. Using a larger hook results in looser, more open stitches. This is great for making projects for blankets or scarves when you want a soft, drapey fabric. Larger hooks are also good with working with bulky or chunky yarns. A smaller hook creates a tighter, more defined stitch. This is especially useful when working with finer yarns like lace or fingering weight, or when you want the fabric with less drape, such as bags or amigurumi, which is crochet toys. Your tension, how tightly or loosely you hold your crochet yarn and hook, is influenced by the size hook that you use. Your tension is tight using a larger hook. I don't want to use that one. Using a larger hook can help loosen your stitches. So if I go like this, see how much looser that chain is compared to these down here. So this is going to give you a more looser stitch. See, it's very loosey-goosey, it's flowy. Whereas if you use a much smaller hook, let's see what I can use here. Maybe this will work. See how the difference is there? It's so much of a difference. A smaller hook can create more defined stitches. So if you have a really tight tension, if you are holding onto your yarn for dear life, you may need to go up a size or two to achieve the correct gauge. If you have really loosey-goosey tension, which is typically what a lot of beginner crocheters have because they haven't figured out how to hold their yarn yet, inadvertently, a tight tension person might be a person that knows how to crochet now, but they are trying to prevent a loose tension because they used to have such a loose tension. So going down a hook size can help tighten up those stitches for you if you have more of a loosey-goosey. See if I go like this. If you have more of a loosey-goosey stitch, then going down a hook might be better for you. The yarn label often provides a recommended hook size range that works well with a specific yarn. So how to select the right hook size. Number 1, follow the pattern. Always check for the recommended hook size on your pattern. This is especially important for garments or accessories, as the sizing can impact the fit. Most patterns will have you do a gauge swatch, which is about a 4x4 square, And that way you can tell if your square matches the pattern maker square. Experiment with your tension. Tension is very important, especially whenever you're learning how to crochet. Consider your yarn texture and style. Some yarns, like those with a lot of texture or novelty fibers, may require a larger hook to make it easier to see your stitches. On the other hand, fine yarns like lace or fingering yarn can require a smaller hook for a more delicate finish. Also, personal comfort. If you find a certain hook size just feels right and more comfortable in your hand, it produces really good results. If you're just making a random blanket or a scarf or something that doesn't require a pattern or specific measurements, then go for it. I have 3 G hooks here, and that's because I mostly use G hooks whenever I am crocheting a random project with worsted weight yarn. Specialty crochet hooks. So I have an adjustable crochet hook right here. These hooks pop off. So you have the same grip each time that you crochet, which is really nice. You don't have to switch up your grip on a teeny tiny hook or a very, very large hook. So it can create the same tension all the way around. This came in a set, which is really nice. My husband got it off of Etsy one year for Christmas, and it is awesome. If I am out and about, I can just have the entire set with me, and I can always have the right hook size. Tunisian crochet hooks are really long crochet hooks. I actually don't have any because I've never Tunisian crocheted before. It's something on my list, but I've just never had the need and haven't done it yet. It looks like a lot of fun, and I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube and on TikTok, and I really love watching them. It's very satisfying. I just don't make a lot of blankets, and I think that's where Tunisian crochet really shines. Also, inline versus tapered hooks. Most of my crochet hooks are tapered. They don't have such a sharp edge here. See how smooth that is? We're looking at the neck of the crochet here. Whereas a inlined crochet hook has more of a sharp pointed neck here. So if you look at the two together, this one's a lot smoother and this one has a sharp end. My favorite crochet hooks are the tapered. I like the tapered a lot better because it's very smooth. It doesn't hang on the neck as easily as a inline. Some crocheters might prefer the inline whenever they're starting out, because if you watch, it does grip that yarn a lot better. There's less chance of this yarn slipping over the edge here and you losing your stitch. So I can hardly even do it just trying to do it. Whereas an inlined, it can, if you're going pretty quick, if you're a quick crocheter or if you're learning, this can slide up and over pretty easy, and then you lose the stitch. So I prefer the tapered because I learned off of the tapered. All of my granny's hooks were tapered. So I have a pretty good feel for it. Plus I'm an advanced crocheter, so I don't lose my yarn off of the end of my crochet hook as much as I used to. I think though, once I was starting out, this would have been really helpful. My husband didn't realize when buying these that there's a difference, and honestly I don't think I even knew at the time that there was a difference between inline and tapered. Whenever I was crocheting with it, I was like, oh, this is a little bit different. I have to adjust my movements a little bit more. Getting the right hook size is key to achieving the best results in your project. Hook size determines the looseness or tightness of your stitches, which in turn affects the look, the feel, and the fit of your final piece. By matching the right hook size with your yarn and paying attention to the gauge, you can ensure your crochet creations come out just as you envision. And remember, experimenting with different sizes can help you discover the perfect fit for your personal crochet style. That's all I have for today. Check out my next video where we go over all of the yarn types and what is the best yarn that you should start off with and buy whenever you start your first project.